Not gonna
Hey everybody, sorry about that. Still working on something here at the time when I was popping up everything. Took me a little bit longer than planned. How's everybody's weekend so far? Got Star Wars guy in here, Pablo. Missed last week's, but I'm glad to be here now. Well, that means no stress, no worries, man. I don't expect everybody to make every one. Things happen, life happens. I expect people to be out living their lives. But if you're not, like me at the moment, come hang out. It's always open here. What's up, Stixie? Donick? What's up, Deadline? What's everybody been up to this week? Watch anything fun? Anything cool? I'm posting my review for Last Night at Soho right now. That's why I was kind of lagging behind a little bit. Ran into some issues with exporting it. School? Well, how's school going, man? Little spoiler for you guys right now. Not really a spoiler, but I mean a spoiler for my review. I like the movie. I like Last Night in Soho a lot. Still plan on going to see Antlers tonight, and then I'll probably be watching Army of Thieves later tonight, and then tomorrow for Halloween I'm going to I'm going to check out the new Paranormal Activity movie, I think. We'll have to see how I feel, because that's a lot of shit to do on top of some normal stuff I need to get out and do as well. Catching up on homework, or catching up on Arrowverse. Batwoman has had a strong start. I agree. I think it's season 3's had a pretty solid start, actually. This last episode I was whatever about, really, but I think the first ones were pretty strong. I like what we got, some expansion on how this world's Mr. Freeze operated, but we're also not done with that storyline apparently, because the next episode is called Anti-Freeze. But then again, that rogue group, who we never really found out who they were or who they were working for, made off with Victor's formula. So we'll just have to figure out who the fuck they're working for. And then that cliffhanger ending, though, with Mary and the vines. A little concerned about that. There's a thing called homework, and it's very exhausting. Oh, trust me, I remember, man. I remember the homework days. Doing all right, Donick. How about you, man? And speaking of school, who the hell put Halloween on a Sunday when I have school on Monday? The calendar did it. The calendar did that to you, my guy. Poor Mary, always getting kidnapped. See, I'm wondering if she's getting kidnapped or if she's going to end up getting, like, possessed. Yeah, which I'm hoping is not the case. I hope we get, like, a standalone Poison Ivy, but we'll see. Yes, Batwoman thus far has been pretty good. Screw the calendar. I agree with that one, man. Hey, man, hope you're well. Just joined the live. So what are we talking about? Just in general, things that you've been up to throughout the week. I was talking about some of the movies I planned on seeing over the weekend. I saw Last Night at Soho last night. Last Night at Soho last night. So yeah, I got a couple others that I plan on watching this weekend. Army of Thieves, Antlers, and the new Paranormal Activity, just for good old Halloween shits and giggles. And you all pretty much know what I've been up to all week, because you see me posted about it most of the time. Hello, Tyler. I'm doing all right, my guy. Have you ever played the Lego games? I've played a couple of them, but they can never hold my attention. I always get really bored with them, like, really quick. Did you hear in the news that Jenna Dawan, the actress who played Lucy Lane on Supergirl Season 1, just disappeared, is coming for... Yeah, I did see that. And honestly, I forgot who the hell she was. But yeah, cool. If they bring back Lucy and they're bringing in this... See, they didn't close down 7734. So they could open the door if they want to transition her into Superwoman, like they do in the comics. But I don't know what story how they would, like, bring that in. Otherwise, I'm not sure what... It could just be for a family visit to further tie things in the Arrowverse together going forward. But I don't know. I'm lukewarm on it. But we'll just have to see what they do with it. I'm excited for The Walking Dead to come back in February. I am. I'm looking forward to see where things go with this season, man. And how they close it off. I really hope they don't close it off without Rick, man. That's all I gotta say. Lots of aliens these DC seasons. That is true. How'd you all feel about the 100th episode of Legends, if any of you watched it? I enjoyed it. I thought it was a happy little thing. Obviously, there was some issues with getting everybody that they wanted to get involved with it, because scheduling and stuff like that. So there are some people that were missing that couldn't be there. So it's just, like, unfortunate. But I like what they were able to do with who they got. And seeing Rip and Snart back, I think, were the two that I was the most excited to see, because I just have a really sweet soft spot for Rip, because I'm a Doctor Who guy, and he played Rory in Doctor Who with Matt Smith. So I have a good soft spot for him, man. It was nice seeing him back. I wish he had a little bit more to do. But other than that, it was a fun little special. Have I seen the Lego movies? I've seen the first, like, Lego movie, like the one that was in theaters by, you know, Lord and Miller. I've seen that one, and Lego Batman. That's it. Well, no, I've seen, shit, what was it? It was one of the Lego Star Wars ones that came out not too long ago. The Lego Star Wars holiday special that came out like a year ago. I watched that. So that sucked, and my ticket for the Eternals got refunded, but I still get to see it for free next Sunday. That's awesome, 60. Sorry about the delay in the ticket issues, though. The actress and Elizabeth Tulloch are the exact same age, with the biggest difference between them is a month. That one was decent right now, but seriously, why push Ryan and Sophie together? See, that's another thing that I don't understand about. I was like, why we're pushing it? It feels like we're trying to push a Sophie Ryan romance as well as this weird. Well, this last episode threw a little bit of a wrench into it, but just that weird awkward scene with Mary and Luke. I was like, we don't need everybody in the Bat family fucking, so they can have people outside of it. And it just feels weird for Sophie. I was just like, as much as I love Ryan, it's just like, okay, we got Kate's suit, we got Kate's family, we got Kate's business, and now you're gonna take Kate's girl. What the fuck? I'd rather have a Wallace Day Batman show or Batwoman show, another reboot. I mean, yeah, I like I've said from the beginning, I think recasting was the better way to go. But it is what it is at this point, and nothing against Javicia or Ryan. I like the character. I like her as an actress. It's just I feel like this was always Kate's story, so they're still working their way on cramming. I kept wanting to say prying and cramming at the same time. Cramming Ryan into the story. What's up, Caleb? Let's see. Stargirl is going to be crazy. I think this next episode, I think it's going to be a wild one. I think we're going to see some fun stuff, actually. I actually like Luke and Mary. I like them as characters. I don't like them together. I don't want them together. But if they do that, as long as it's natural, but there's been no hints or signs that they've had anything like that until that one scene. So that's why it's a little weird. Especially after all of that Luke and Stephanie stuff. What's up, Sheena? Joker with Carnage versus Riot with Arkham game? What? Arkham Bane. Arkham Bane. Riot and Bane, I would have to say. But have I seen the Eternals yet? No. It comes out this Friday for me. Yeah, just make Sophie kind of a confidant with the GCPD and make them friends with Superman and Lois. Proves you can do that. Agreed. What's up, Ragu? I seen your Titans finale reaction on another channel. Did you okay that, or someone being sneaky? That is someone being sneaky, and I have addressed it. I've given them the opportunity to pull it down. If not, they've got 7 days to drop it, or they'll be forced to remove it. So, because it's not just me either. They're doing the same thing for other smaller channels and replacing, like, copying not just the entire video, because it's nothing added to it. It is just my video up on their channel, like it's me, same headline or same title, exact same description, except they've replaced all of my URLs with this nauticalpet.com link to sell pet products or something like that. So it's just like a random scam thing that they're using other people's content for, which I've submitted a separate report. Go report the channel, guys, if you are aware of it, because it's not me or any of the people it is claiming to be. And it's, yeah, report that channel. Because it's a little ridiculous. It just came up out of nowhere, and it's just got 5 videos from random people on there. Who would you like to be the villain for season 2 of Superman and Lois, since we haven't heard anything news-wise for that? The villain of season 8 of The Flash, I'd love to see Warren Christie as Red Death. I'd like to see Warren Christie as Red Death, but I don't know if we've got the setup to do that yet. They could definitely go that direction, but I'd like to see it, but I feel like it would need to be set up. Maybe that answers the question of where our Bruce has been this entire time. He's become a speedster. But I'd like to see Brainiac. I really want to see Brainiac. Maybe another go at Lobo. Mongol could be cool. I'd like to see a War World, but that might be a little bit outside the CW's budget. Random question. How would you feel if, as a whole, the entertainment industry did away with the age rating systems, like with movies, TV, music, and becoming more like books? You would have a lot of pissed off people. I don't know. Yeah, no, I feel like with the visual mediums, there's a difference between reading something and watching something, I think. Seeing something. So I feel like it needs to stay. Because, I mean, you could easily... Then there's no excuse to put... You can't put any blame on the parent for them taking their 5-year-old to a Deadpool movie at that point. So, that... There's a lot of protection for the companies and stuff like that when it comes to those types of things, I think, to have those in place. But I'm not the most intelligent person on the subject, so I don't know. But I feel like it's just a natural thing that needs to be there for film and the visual medium. Music, maybe not so much, but it is what it is, I suppose. Thank you, Marcus, for the super chat. Can't stay long, just wanted to pop in and say hello there, General Kenobi. And to the rest of the Omni Squad. Well, thank you, Marcus. I really appreciate the super chat. I hope you're having a good day, and you have I really appreciate you taking the time to pop in, though. Have a happy Sunday, my guy. Maybe we'll see you next week. MCU MK85 suit versus that Batman suit in BVS. I think any of the Iron Man suits could probably... I wouldn't say decimate the BVS suit, but at least rock his socks off. It's faster, it's quicker, it's got more utility. And it can fly. So I feel like any of the Iron Man suits would pose quite the threat to Batman in that suit. Let's see. Yeah, I watched the weekly search on reactions to see what I missed out on, and I thought you re-uploaded it, but that ain't you. Yeah, it's not me. Just learned that the actress who plays Ryan's mother is 22 years older than her. If that's true, then Bruce would have to be as old, or at least the same age as her. I mean, we don't really know how old Bruce is in this current timeline anyway. We've only seen Warren Christie, man. He does have a little bit of a younger face, but yeah, you make a good point. Because I was going to say the last time we saw Warren Christie was in Luke's mind, and that could just be his mental image of the last time he had seen Bruce, because that has been years now. But we saw Thomas Elliott walking around as a current Bruce, and nobody really questioned it at all. But who's to say? She's rich. She's a billionaire. She could be a cougar for all we know. Doesn't matter if she's older than Bruce. If they wanted to knock knees or anything. Since the Eddie Thawne actor is returning to the Flash Armageddon event, I kind of want Eddie Thawne as Cobalt Blue as the next villain of the next season. You and so many other people, man. Me too, though. But I don't think it's specifically for the Armageddon event. I think he's got his own Flash episode after Armageddon. I don't know that he's involved in Armageddon. I could be wrong, though. My opinion, I would have liked to see more of the OG cast during the 100th episode of Legends. Astra and the other girl were in it too much. And Ray, Jefferson Stein, Hawkman, Rip could have just been used more. Yeah, I agree, but they had to integrate it into the story, like with any of the 100s. So I like what they did, but you're right. I would always love more, but I think they worked around it pretty well. What do you think is going to happen in the next episode of Chucky? I think that doll is going to be burned, and Chucky's going to show up magically back at Jake's, and we'll see how it goes because everything is, anyway, because I'm pretty confident we got multiple Chuckies running around because of that was established in Cult of Chucky that he's got multiple bodies now. So that one's just going to somebody also made a good point that there was this line that he talked to Jake about, you always have to cover your tracks, and he made no effort to leave that fire. So I think he was going to burn with the fire to cover up what even happened there. So, and then another doll is going to resurface and just play it off like he got away. So we'll see. Everyone should stop talking about the channel awesome controversy because it's getting on my nerves. No, I mean, I don't know if there's a new one, but all the old stuff, man. I mean, it's some pretty bad shit, dude. So it is what it is. I have a feeling Eddie is in it for more than one episode. Just my 2 cents, and I hope that Bart and Nora are in it for most of the season, not just 1 or 2 episodes. I hope we see a lot of Bart and Nora. But I heard that Eddie is only in 1 episode. But that could just be a misdirect. But we'll just have to see. Wait and see. How was the Soho movie? I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was really interesting. It was very different for an Edgar Wright film. But beautiful. Well directed. Well acted. And the twist and the journey is a lot of fun. And it's not one of those ones that just kind of come out of nowhere, but there are seeds throughout. So if you're paying attention, you can kind of figure things out throughout it. I thought it was really cool. Iron Spider suit versus BVS suit. Probably the BVS suit. I think he's got way more power behind him than the Iron Spider suit. Are you going to react to season 2 of Lock and Key? I've never seen season 1, so that is a hard no. Guardians of the Galaxy, including Yondu, Mantis, Kraglin versus the 2021 new Suicide Squad after the final battle. I'd probably have to go with the Guardians on that one. Oh, what's up with this season of Stargirl? Why is there a subtitle? The only other superhero show I saw do that was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What's going to be the subtitle in next season? I don't know. I don't know why they decided to do it like that, but yeah, whatever. Doesn't really bother me. It's kind of like what Young Justice has been doing over the past few years, so I thought it was strange. It made me think it was like a spinoff for a second, or not actually season 2 or something, but no, it was just, I don't know. Rather than calling it season 2, they just wanted to call it Summer School. I've seen Halloween Kills yet. Me and my mom did a movie night on it Thursday. Yeah, man, I posted my review like the night it came out. Didn't like it. Have I seen Army of Thieves? I watched it this morning. It was pretty good. Not yet. I plan on watching that over the weekend. I'm going to see Antlers tonight, and then I will probably watch Army of Thieves later tonight when I get home. If I had to rate the 100th episode, how would you rank them? I'd say Arrow, Flash, Legends, Supergirl. I actually did in the Discord, and I can't remember what I said. I know I had both Arrows, so I did. Somebody had asked the same question here, but we included the 100ths and the 150ths in here as well. So Arrow 712 and Arrow 508. Flash Heart of the Matter, number 3. Legends, number 4. Flash, what's past his prologue, which was the actual 100th, was number 5. And then Supergirl's It's a Super Life at 6. That's how I ranked it, at least. I've got a strong Arrow bias, though, so that's why those are definitely up there for me. Arrow, The Flash, Legends, Supergirl. That's my rating. Why are you giving me eyes like that, hun? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to me? And I was going to add Thor 2 after Endgame, but I realized he was too OP. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. What's up, SJ? I'm doing all right. Have I seen the show Heroes? I've seen, like, an episode of Heroes. I know some of the characters in passing because it was kind of big while I was in college, I think. And my friends were into it, but I never really watched it. So I only really heard things from, like, their point of view. And I know some of the characters and actors and actresses and stuff in it, but as far as the show itself overall, I've never really watched much of it. Venom and Carnage versus Arkham Bane and King Shark. Venom and Carnage would wreck the shot out of them. What's up, Barry? I'm really happy Lucy is returning. I loved her character on Supergirl. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't think you were in here yet, JLR. I don't really remember, or I'm going to bring this down here because I turned on my fan, so I'm going to just make this a little bit easier to talk so you guys aren't just hearing my fan. Let me know if I think these levels are okay. Sorry. Yeah, I don't really remember her at all. Then again, season 1 and season 2 of Supergirl were definitely not my favorites. Been watching Blind Wave's old Flash reactions and heard to see how decent even season 3 and 4 compared to now. I really have no expectations from Eric Wallace for season 8, but I can hope. I just always hope things are going to get better. That's about all I can say. And I still don't understand why people harp on season 3 so much. Again, I feel like it's always kind of went downhill from season 1, because season 1 is just the best season. The focus on the story of Barry and Eobard and that reveal, the just with Wells and everything, it's just such a good season. Sure, the effects are the most dated in that one, but I feel like the story itself was the most clean. Even while the show was trying to figure out what it was going to be. Season 2 was kind of like a repeat of season 1, but with a multiversal and the multiverse wrapped into it. A lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. And then season 3, again, a little bit less, but I feel like it was interesting. I like Savitar as a villain. I liked how dark season 3 was. I don't know. I liked it. But season 4, again, people harp on it, but out of all of our non-speedster villains, DeVoe was probably the best, in my personal opinion. Let's see. The problem that came about with DeVoe is the way they wrote that story. It made him so overpowered. By the end of it, they didn't have like a very strong way to bring him down, so it felt very convenient about how they defeated him, because they wrote him to be so overpowered that they wrote themselves into a corner. I'm surprised that people still live in Central City. You can say the same about Gotham. I gotta tell you, if I had any option, I would fucking move out of Gotham if I was born there. Have I seen the show Smallville? It's pretty great. I've seen season 1, 4, 8, 9, and 10. I haven't seen all of Smallville because, like, when it was airing, like, it was a really rough time for me, like, moving around, high school, show choir, moving into college and stuff like that. I wasn't like all that adamant on keeping up with it, but I've seen a fair amount of it, but I haven't seen all of Smallville. But yeah, I did. I used to, if I could, I would always try to catch it though. Especially like the early seasons. There's so many X-Files nods and things to that, because a lot of Smallville started around the time that the X-Files wrapped up, and since both shows were filmed primarily in Vancouver, even though X-Files had moved to LA for its final couple of seasons, a lot of the core group that was left in Vancouver were all, like, X-Files workers. So there's a lot of music, lines of dialogue, episode premises, all kinds of stuff that is just ripped straight from the X-Files. It's so funny. But I every time I catch it, I'm like, I know that one! A lot of recurring characters and actors across the board in there, too. Love Smallville questions. Hell yeah. What's one oh my effing god OMFG moment that could happen in the Batman to really get out of your seat? Me, it would be that Bruce is close to being involved in the corruption of Gotham. Somebody alive? I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't know. I really don't have any good guesses. I'm sorry. Maybe if he like no, I got nothing. I can't think of anything right now. We don't know. I feel like we don't know enough about the story for me to make a good educated guess. Might get into stop motion clay recreations of the Marvel in phase 3 and 4 movies, including Venom 1 and 2, Spider-Verse, and Morbius. Once it comes out, if I get started, would you watch? I mean, I'd check it out. I don't know if I'd like do reactions to it, but I definitely would be curious about seeing what you got. People need to give Eric Wallace a chance. The Bloodwork arc was very good, and we need to we know he can make a good show if he wants to. Yeah, I think COVID COVID, and I don't think he had the best writers. I don't put it all on Eric Wallace. I just put I think a lot of it came down to CW. I'm hoping, and the lack of talent in the writers' room to work around those problems. But I think free of some of those limitations, this season could be better. Because, like you said, I think the Mirror Mistress arc, like the first bit of it, as well as Bloodwork, was all fine. Bloodwork was really good. And then COVID happened, and that's when we got season 7. I don't think it's all Eric Wallace's fault, and I'm hoping that this is a clean slate and we can move forward. I hope. I'm just trying to be positive is all, really. Might get into it on Christmas. Great time as any to do it, man. Well, I think CGI now is the worst it's ever been, including the lightning effects. It's like it's aimed at kids now, making them maturing with its audience. I mean, I think the tone, like definitely the Flash, as it's evolved, has lightened its tone even more than it was. Like out of the shows, out of Arrow, Supergirl, and Flash, the Flash always kind of had its, well, even before Supergirl came about, Flash was like the lighthearted show where Arrow was our dark show. And that's kind of how it was. But even like comparing now to then, it's much less serious than it used to be, even back then by that comparison. Like, yeah, it's definitely, and that's the case with the Legends too. Like, it's definitely not taking anything nearly as seriously as some of the shows used to. And I think that hurts a little bit. But I honestly think the VFX look way better than they used to. I'm one of the few people that I just do not see visually the complaints about the effects, because it looks better than it does to me from the past seasons. I've seen a character breakdown for Titan Season 4 casting. Not sure how legit it is. Looks like Brother Blood, Mother Mayhem, and Jinx could be fake, though. I mean, It'd be cool. Just see if how they do it. Titans, while I enjoyed this season better, I think has the worst track record out of any of the DC shows. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. What's my opinion on Rotten Tomatoes rating on the Eternals? What's it at right now? Because I've seen this hubbub all over the place. But I haven't actually looked at it myself. So 60% now. Now, again, people were like, I saw some people like defending something on here about saying like it was getting review bombed or something like that. But these are all critics that have seen it. Like none of the public has seen it. So, I mean, these are legit, at least whether or not you believe in critics' thoughts or whatever. This is the score it's got. You can't review bomb this as a critic and be on part of this. So, now I haven't looked at IMDb's rating, even though IMDb should not ever be looked at for a source of people's opinions because it's even more open. It doesn't have a rating here yet. I mean, I don't know, man. It's what people think. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't really tell you. So if the people have seen it and that's their legit opinion, it is what it is. Can't really change that. Kind of wish The Flash had been one season mini-series. And then he disappears into the wormhole at the end of season 1, which is a catalyst for Legends of Tomorrow, like Justice League show. Could have been interesting. The Flash is a hard character to write for, especially at long term, because of the nature of his abilities. It's hard to make a situation have so many stakes and make sense when you have a character that should be able to resolve most, if not all, non-speedster issues in the blink of an eye. Before the villain ever even has a time to think, they should be in cuffs. It's just hard to write around that. So, like, I kind of agree with that. Who is a big DC character that would get their own show in the CW in the next few years? Or a show you would like to see happen? That's a tough one. I know it wouldn't happen, but I'd like to see a Wally West show. But in light of that, if Nora and Bart go back to the future, I'd like to see like a show following them. Damn, did my message not send before? Must have been a glitch. I asked you before, do you think the Arrowverse would still be around 10 years later? 10 years from now? I doubt it. I don't know. I think it all hinges on how the Flash does moving forward and how strong of a stride Superman and Lois can keep on. I often point out the actors who are in X-Files. I do that with anything I watch. It's not just you. Like anybody. But hanging out with the bros and watching something, I'm like, that guy was in X-Files. Have I ever been in it? No, I've never been in a Nostalgia Critic episode before. That would be insane. The closest I've been to being in anything huge like that has just been the one time I had a guest spot on the Real Rejects channel. Hanging out with the boys. I mean, Eric Wallace said something like that they have the best writers team. Listen, when you're doing PR, you always have to say shit like that. But let's be real. We all saw that Allegra episode. You tell me the best writer's room wrote that episode. I don't care who you are. You are smoking some next level stuff if that is your opinion of the best writer's room. what they can produce. Rip Hunter said, come back in Legends tomorrow in a full episode. What? If he comes back in a full episode, that'd be awesome. Let's hopefully less COVID restrictions will give us better Flash stories, more seriousness. Yeah, I feel like they're like right out of the gate with this arc, at least the Armageddon thing. They seem to be taking themselves a lot more moody and seriously, kind of like back in the day. I like that. I want to feel the damn stakes. That's all I want. Have I checked out the Guardians game? I'm worried. I'm going to wait and hear more reviews about it. Or I'm worried and I'm going to wait and see more reviews on it first. No, I haven't, because I reacted to the trailers and I told you guys I didn't like how it looked. I didn't like how the gameplay looked. I watched that like 15-minute gameplay video and I thought the gameplay looked super annoying. The story might be fine. The story trailer they released like a few weeks after that, I thought actually looked pretty decent. But it just didn't. The gameplay, the gameplay does not wow me at all. It just looks really clunky to me, and the animation just in general, even in the cutscenes, isn't the best. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like I'd be all that invested in it. With how little time I have at the moment, it's definitely not a game I'm going to rush out and go play. So, but that's just me. Everybody else is going to be different. In my opinion, Fuerza looks horrible, and the lighting looks so weirdly bright, and I would blame COVID, but look at all the other amazing shows we received during COVID. Again, those other shows have, you got to think of the budget constraints are completely different from show to show. But I thought, compared to some of the other giant CGI creatures they have done in the past, Fuerza looked good. They didn't spend Gorilla Grodd or King Shark money on her, though. So there's no way, because those are the best things the Flash has ever put out CGI wise. But compared to what we got a few episodes prior, Fuerza was fine. But yeah, anytime Fuerza was in the daylight, it was just 1,000 times worse. But I'm talking about, everybody was complaining about the speed and the lightning effects, and I was like, they look better than they've ever looked to me. And if you compare Fuerza to any of the other previous CGI monster effects, or hell, even way better than anything they have ever done on Supergirl, even. What's your opinion on the No Way Home set photos from Empire? They look cool. I've been trying to avoid them because I don't know. I don't want to over spoil myself, man. I've already seen some theories on what they mean, what they break down, but I don't know. I just want to wait till the movie's out at this point. I know some people are diving super hard into anything. If it's not an official trailer or anything like that, I'm just not going out of my way to work on it or look at it. Is it possible to do a watch along for the Eternals? No, because it's in theaters only. So that I won't be able to, there's no way I can watch it at home and record it. Is Chow being called the wrong director, or is it just the story? I guess we'll find out. Or is it Zhao? What I've heard is that it's just the story. It's not really the direction. So I wouldn't say it's the director so much, but I don't know. A lot of people are comparing it to Dune in the very same way, that they're not able to get emotionally connected to any of the characters in Dune. So I think it's the scale and the scope is more or less the problem. But I don't know. I haven't seen it for myself. I could have a very different opinion of it. So we'll find out when I see it next week. Biggest promise for CWDC Hero shows is they keep adding more characters. It's one of the reasons why I hate the Bat family so much. The Arrowverse should have always stayed grounded. I wouldn't say grounded, but I think they do need to keep their webs much tighter. Because I feel like once Arrow tried to replicate the Flash and have Team Arrow and all that stuff, and they started getting like a bunch of people on there, the more regulars you have on a show, the more people you have to share time with, and the less time you have to develop your story and build up your villains and do all this other stuff. It just becomes too... It puts a lot of stuff into an episode, and at the end of it, you feel like very little happened because you're bouncing between all these different points of view. And then sometimes you don't hear from somebody at all because they didn't have time to talk to them in this episode. It's just like, there's just too crowded. They need to get away and shrink and scale things back. Because I think The Flash and Arrow were the best when they had small personal teams. And not like these large, like, family events every episode. At most, maybe 4 people per team. Beyond that, and your supporting cast, it just becomes too much to juggle, man. I don't know. Atom versus Ant-Man. I don't know enough about both. If it's Hank, man, I don't know, man. I really don't know. If it's Hank Pym, he's much more ruthless than Ray Palmer. So I would have to go with Hank Pym. But if it's Ray versus, like, damn, why am I not remembering his name? Paul Rudd's character. Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. Shit, why can't I remember his name? Anyway, if it's Brandon Routh versus Paul Rudd, I think they might kill each other. I don't know. They're both about the same kind of goofy. What's up, Cam J? The main villains need to be speedsters and have important rogues for Freak of the Week stuff. No more Power Rangers villains, please. I agree with that. But then again, you had so many people complaining for seasons 1 through 3 that every week, every month, every season, it's another speedster. They were like, give us, why do we keep getting speedsters? And now we're all just like, God damn it. Where are all the speedsters? I mean, I can't blame them for trying to shift away from it because people were bitching about it. So they tried to shy away from it, and then here we are. Let's not forget the Arrowverse was inspired by Christopher Nolan's movies. Comic fans go for Cry Me a River. Can go Cry Me a River. Supergirl doesn't need to have 7 heroes in her own solo series. Do I agree? Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I think I already kind of went on a rant about that before. You actually put that in, or before I actually read it or answered your other one. How was last night in Soho? I'm thinking if I should go or not to see it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. I thought it was super stylish, and I think my... actually, I don't think I actually posted it. Hold on one second. Boom. My review is on the channel. So I don't have to answer that question anymore. But long story short, I liked it. The Rock is a rock in a rock band in Iraq with Chris Rock rocking out to We Will Rock You. What the hell are you smoking, Sixy? Might be able to watch Antlers tonight. For sure watching Soho tomorrow. I'm going to see Antlers tonight as well. That being said, we need a whole new slate alongside Superman and Lois, Legends, and Flash. Get Naomi off the ground. Cancel Batwoman. Sorry, it's the weakest link right now. I mean, out of the shows, yes, it is definitely the weakest link at the moment. Legends, though, is right there with it. And it's not by much. Venom and Carnage versus King Shark. We already said that, and I answered it. It would easily be Venom and Carnage. Like not even a competition there. Is that wine? If so, what's it called? Hold on. So it's called Forks of Cheat Winery. It's a local brew. So I'm pretty sure you can only get it in my state. But it's made with blackberries, so it's very sweet. If you pull up a comparison to the running from earlier to now, you will definitely be able to tell. I mean, I went back and I watched the old episodes. Like, it just looks worse to me in the old episodes. Get 2 new DC Arrowverse shows off the ground as well. Superman and Lois level budgets and care, plus the cinematic aspect ratios. I think that's the way to go, man. I really do. I agree with you there, Caleb. I really think they need to just condense things a little bit. Opinion on Big Mouth on Netflix. I've never seen it. Maybe start knocking off some characters. Yeah, let's kill some people. Let's kill some people off on these shows. Scott Lang. Yes, thank you. I don't know why. Brain sometimes just doesn't brain. Let's see. When I started reading comics, Cersei was an Avenger, so that has me looking forward to Eternals, even though their comic book never really did it for me. As long as I like Cersei, I should be okay with it. Fair enough. What's up, Jones? Hey, man, can I ask what camera you use? It's a Sony 6400A is what I use for the camera. Oh, shit. I just realized somebody asked me about these lights. So I didn't install really anything. These are just some little like round lights you can set on the floor and point somewhere. So I don't have like any LEDs or whatever installed around back in here. I just have 2 little RGB lamps on the floor that I can just shine on here. It really helps because I have all these pops that have these white covers. So it just makes everything bounce back off and look illuminated. So that's my secret. I guess if you could guest star in any Arrowverse show, what would it be? I mean, if I could choose any Arrowverse show, it would have been Arrow, like easy. But I can't do that now. So if I had to pick from the slate that they got now, Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois. That's what I'd love to do. At least Supergirl is ending. No more team! Yes, Supergirl is finally coming to an end. For me, the thing about Supergirl that's so, I was going to say attractive, and I guess it is like the only attractive quality to the show for me, is the cast. And not like physically attractive, but also, yes, physically attractive. But no, like the cast is so enjoyable to watch. Like their charisma, their charm, their love for each other, their quirkiness is the thing that keeps me watching. Honestly, the moment Brainy got introduced and Jesse Rath was brought onto the show, that was the moment, because I just did a binge catch up before Crisis on Infinite Earths, because as I've said on multiple streams, I stopped watching after season 2 because I just could not stand watching the show anymore. So I stopped watching. And then they announced Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then I made a huge effort to at least catch up on all of the shows that I had been missing. And even the stuff that they had announced would be making appearances in it. I went when they announced Helena Kyle, or that wasn't Helena Kyle, was it? What was her name? Helena Wayne? Whatever. Huntress from Birds of Prey. The old 2001 show came out. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go watch that. I watched it. I got a review up for the 2001 Birds of Prey TV show. They announced, like, Clark was coming back from Smallville. I caught up on the season 11 comics because I knew where everything ended in Smallville, so I just picked up where it left off. But I had not caught up on Supergirl. I did not know what was going on in Supergirl at the time, other than the moments of episodes that took place during the crossover events. That's about all I knew. So going into the Crisis on Infinite Earths, because it was such a big event, I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and check this out. So I binged my way up to there, and it wasn't really until Jesse Rath came onto the scene that I got re-interested in the show. Because they were just, he's so fucking funny. He's so funny in every scene. Even when he's serious a lot of the times, it just makes me chuckle. Because he's just such a, like, a really great comedic actor. I don't know, man. I just fell in love with him. And then from there, they got away from a lot of the problems that I had with the show for so long. That I just watched for really just the entertainment of it, not really the story, because the stories were just garbage. The writing most of the time has just been garbage. I think Supergirl is probably the weakest. If we're talking writing, production, and storylines and stuff like that, probably one of the weaker, if not the weakest, CW show for me, personally. I think Batwoman in the first 3 seasons has been way more consistent than Supergirl has been. Maybe not as bombastic or loud or even as filled with joy, but better to me. But I love the cast of Supergirl. I love them all. And they do the best they can with what they got. And if they could take Melissa Benoist and give her an HBO Max series, or if they had treated Supergirl with half the care that was given to Superman and Lois, we might have had a good show. There's some great episodes and moments in there, don't get me wrong. But overall, it was just so hard for them to, like, keep things going. Let's see. Where'd I leave off? I think if season 8 doesn't improve, we will just have to accept that we are no longer the target audience of Eric Wallace and just stick around till the end. I will at least have spent 7 years with it. I mean, I'm going to watch it until the show ends. But we'll just have to see what they do with it, man. I was waiting for Lex Luthor to return all season, and when he does, they making a simp. What the fuck? I thought it was kind of funny, though. I think it's him and Nixley is an interesting and fun pair, though. And on that note, I'm gonna go once you read and reply. So good night, SJ. Thank you, man. What's up, East Blue? My secrets, my wine secrets. I have to fly home on No Way Home Day. Oh, that's not good. When you think we get any RE4 remake news? They've been working on it forever. You know, I don't know, man. They just put out a little while ago that VR version of RE4. I was like, man, RE4 is going to be the next, like, Skyrim of horror, really. But honestly, I thought about getting a VR set so I could play RE4 in VR. But I don't know, man. RE4 is going to be one of those games I think is even more beloved, at least in current day, for how it modernized the Resident Evil franchise. And I don't know how you remaster that, remake that, and keep a lot of that energy in there. It's gonna be a special thing for them to do. You know, RE2 got a lot of love. RE3 was very mixed, but it was handled by a separate team. So we'll just have to cross our fingers and hope they don't fuck up RE4. Did you hear that Melissa Benoist says she's definitely open to returning to Supergirl? And I hope she'll be in the 2022 crossover event. I did see that she's, for the right story, she's more than willing to come back and put the cape on again. So at least that lets me know that they are probably not going to kill her at the end, which I didn't think they would anyway. Said it was honestly so good. Keep up the great reactions. Well, thank you, Jones. I really appreciate that. Definitely 4 shows at once maximum. They can probably get more crossovers without it being a chore to make and a chore to watch. A crossover that's 5 hours or more. Yeah. I don't know. I've never really been bothered by how lengthy the crossovers has been. I just thought because of the only reason I did that for Crisis on Infinite Earths is because it was this thing that was supposed to all be building up to it, and they were making all these references to other shows. So I was like, you know, this is a bigger event. Like if this was Crisis on Earth X, which I watched, or Elseworlds, I watched that just fine without watching Supergirl at all. But it was just because Crisis on Infinite Earths was set up to be this huge event, and I wanted to put a little more effort into it. That's all. Thank you, Speets. Show your tea standing and move the microphone. Are you back again? Did you just make a new account? I will move the microphone and I will just show you the tea. But I don't know why that's a request. Is this like a kink thing? I don't get it. Now for feet, that'll be much more. Anyway. Let's see. So I went over the Riverdale Peter Parker. Who would you compare the other Peter Parkers to, including all other Spider people from the Spider-Verse, to like Spider-Ham as Looney Tunes Spider-Man? I'm not sure I understand your question. The trade-off with the great Supergirl cast is that there is less time to tell succinct, compelling stories for Supergirl herself. I love the cast as well, but it would not be nice but wouldn't be nice to get a good story. Yes, I agree, Ming-Ching. I do. I agree with that. You have hope for the RE movie. I at least think if it's not good, it will be entertaining. So I think it'll either be a good adaptation and it'll be fun, or it'll just be a fun B movie to watch and just turn your brain off and have a good time. Black Lightning, Ryan Choi, Mia Queen, and Alex Danvers are the most anticipated guest stars in Armageddon. Excited to see Barry team up with all of them. Me too. Out of everybody they announced, Mia and Jefferson are the two that I'm most excited to see him team up with. What I want a Crisis on Infinite Earths with Marvel/DC, like The Amazing Spider-Man, DC. No, I want DC and Marvel just to stay separate, personally. Hate that DC is basically seen as the Batman, Superman, and company. The fact that DC themselves perpetuates that. Yeah, I mean, WB is, as much as Disney is a money-hungry machine, Marvel does not operate that way, and Disney lets them operate how they want to operate. And they've put all of their investment on these DC list characters that barely anybody's ever heard of, and they've made them all household names. WB is like, if we just slap Batman and Superman's name on something, I swear we're going to get $1 billion. And they put no heart and care into any of it. The people behind the scenes on the movies, whether or not behind the directors, behind the studio, or anything like that, those people, I'm not saying like any of the directors, writers, cast, none of them. Everybody that is in charge of them does not give two shits about what happens. They just like, how can we make some cash off of this? That's the only worry they have. And that's why we get so much of Batman, because they're like, Batman sells. And now they're just like, Superman's a death trap now for some reason. I don't understand. WB doesn't make a lot of sense to me sometimes. I hope they don't watch my live streams. But they've got so many other characters that they can branch off into that would be so much fun to watch. Like, I don't know why it's taken this long to get a Flash movie. I know why it's taken this long to get this Flash movie, but a Flash movie? Or why don't we have a Black Lightning movie? Why don't we have another Green Lantern movie? Why don't we have, because it's not the character of Green Lantern that failed that film. Like, why don't we have a Vixen movie? We're finally getting a Static movie. We're finally getting a Batgirl movie. We're going to be getting a Supergirl movie or series, whichever they decide to do. There's so many characters in the DC pantheon that they could put some hope and put a little risk into. I mean, Shazam might not have made them buku bucks, but critically, it was like their best received movie in their entire run. So I don't know. They just need to be more confident in some of their lesser known characters. Um, you think Nika from Cult of Chucky will show up in the series, and why? I doubt it. Um, I just, I don't know. I think that story is left back there. Um, if we see anybody from Cult of Chucky in this, it's just going to be Jennifer Tilly. That's my thoughts. I don't think we'll see Nika at all, but if we do, it'd be really interesting. Melissa always gives an earnest, heartfelt performance with all the messy stuff that the production writers throw at her. Yeah, like they do miracles with some of the scripts they're handed. Am I going to react to the Smallville animated series that they're making? If it actually gets off the ground, yes, I will watch it and I'll react to it. Like they made over 100 plus Batman related non-comic projects in 75 years since its inception, and it looks like 50 plus years before they even considered making an Aquaman project. All right. Aquaman, I would argue, out of all of the members of the Justice League, had the hardest hurdles to climb because of the meme that he became in pop culture because of the Super Friends. I think he had the hardest hurdle and the largest hurdle to climb. So I can understand why it took a long time for them to feel confident enough to make an Aquaman movie. But you don't, the rest of your pantheon, the rest of your library doesn't have that stigma behind it. Like any of the Teen Titans, Deathstroke, Dr. Fate, Zatanna, Zatara, any of them. Like, there's so many people they have that they could make a thing about, but it is what it is. But we'll see how things move forward. I think we're going to see a very different DC universe moving forward after this Flash movie. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do. What would you individually compare the Spider People to Spider-Verse? Would you buy the new Rockstar's merch lineup for your reactions? I mean, I have bought their merch specifically for my reactions, like the Loki shirt I bought for my Loki reactions and the What If shirts I bought for my What If reactions, but it just depends on what it is. If I don't like the design, I won't pick it up generally, so I've got to at least like the design too, so there's that as well. Individually compare the Spider People to from Spider-Verse. I still don't know what you mean. And we'll have no problem with the stories. I mean, they're comic book properties for all science fiction, even Batman. Yeah, them being grounded is none of my problem with it, because how do you ground Superman? How do you ground Green Lantern? How do you ground Martian Manhunter? How do you ground the Flash? You can't. You can only ground Batman because he's a human. The moment you add supernatural or sci-fi elements to it, you've lost the ability to ground it. So I don't know. I don't personally agree with that. I understand the sentiment because a lot of people feel that way, especially the people that really gravitated towards the Nolan stuff. But if you ever want to expand into other areas, you have to have that open mind. And it worked. I feel like it worked for a while, and then they ran out of ideas to keep things fresh. We get a moment of Barry and Mia bonding over Oliver. I hope we do too. Who would you want for a new Avengers lineup? I would want Kingo? Black Falcon. Well, Black Falcon is not a character. Shang-Chi, Sprite, Spider-Man, Yelena Belova, Katie, Venom if he stays, and Disney buys Sony, Bucky, Wanda, Strange, Loki. So Kevin Feige put out an interesting comment in an interview that he doesn't believe, at least in the near future or for a while, that we will see a fragmentation in Disney's relationship with Sony. Because we had that potential separation a few years ago that shook the MCU and the media for weeks. He said that since then, he doesn't think that they will have a separation in the near future. So I think that's an interesting little comment that he followed up on. And sorry about that, Captain J. I remember you asked that earlier, but I got on a tangent and forgot to answer. I have not watched Heels yet. I know it's ended. All the episodes are out, but I haven't had time to go check it out yet. So I haven't watched it yet. Let's see. See Barry and Mio develop a friendship. Damn, Omni, spider suits, and goblin suit leaked on Twitter. Yeah, I'm gonna not look. Not gonna look. You can have a Martin Scorsese question movie set in The Enemy of the State with Will Smith. Yeah, see, you can do something like that. A question movie would be really good too. Hell, a Spectre movie would be really good. Hell, take another stab at a Constantine movie. Swamp Thing. I mean, so many people, man. So many. Let's see. Do you think Kara and Alex are going to have pretty big roles in the Arrowverse moving forward still? I think for like the crossovers and big events, more than likely. Because I think they still want to have their Justice League, their Super Friends, available for like the big events. As far as like guest appearance and stuff like that, just randomly throughout the season, I don't think we'll see stuff like that. Especially with how much it involves bringing people into Vancouver and stuff for filming, but we'll see. We'll see. I hope so. I mean, Black Lightning just ended and we're having Jefferson come in for this little crossover event. So I feel like anything's really possible as long as it's somebody that has this positive relationship. And they were able to get Brandon Routh to come back for Ray in the 100th episode of Legends. And he had a very sour departure with the show as he kind of aired his distaste over it on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast after he left Legends. I actually wouldn't mind if DC films were made by like Legendary instead of main WB or Foundry, Snyder's production company. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Legendary does a really good job with their films, so hell yeah, do it. I think ultimately, if you look at some of the DC Universe shows, that you can see how DC can remain grounded through good character work. The character work is the most important part, and I think that's where a lot of it's excelled in the early days and started to fall apart ever since the end of Arrow. I feel like they haven't had I think since Arrow ended, I haven't really felt like the character work on any of the shows has been particularly done well. Because despite the individual episode stories, I've always felt like, at least, even if the villain of the week or the villain of the season, the storyline wasn't that great, the character dramas were always keeping me invested. And I feel like that's been, here lately, it's been a little bit of neither have been keeping me invested. And I don't know. I don't know what's changed. Has it been me? Or is the writing just not found any new ways to handle the characters moving forward? I feel like they haven't figured out how to move these characters forward. That's my personal opinion. No, thank you for the sub there. The Amazing Spider-Man is Riverdale Peter Parker. I'm just going to agree with what you said. Stixie, man, I'm just going to agree with your choices there. Like, Man of Steel was made by Legendary, but then Snyder's production company picked up the DC movies for BVS, Wonder Woman, and Justice League. That's because I think Man of Steel was made before they had the plan to move forward and build out this universe. They wanted to, but they weren't confident behind it yet. So, I don't know. out of those, Man of Steel is my favorite of the films. Except for Snyder Cut. That's personally my favorite DCEU current film. But then Aquaman was made by the director's production company. Shazam was made by WB, etc. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Which Marvel movie is more hyped? Am I more hyped for Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home, Quantumanium, Avengers 5, Spider-Verse 2? No Way Home. 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 I mean, I'm going to watch Quantumania, but I'm not going to say I'm hyped for it. Avengers 5, we have no even scope or idea of what it's going to be, so I definitely can't be excited for it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it when it comes out, but I'm not out of it. I'm not hyped for it because I don't know what it's going to be. Spider-Verse 2, same thing. I'm excited to see it. I loved the first one. I don't know what it's going to be, so I've got no way to be hyped for it. Are you glad they actually gave Alex a superhero persona? I kind of like the Sentinel suit and gimmick. I do too. I like it. I like how they brought her into it, and I like the fact how her being like an agent and all that stuff plays into what her suit can do. Like, it can just craft whatever weapon she wants or imagines. I think it's fine. I like it. Bruce has the ability to buy parts and make time travel device with the help of Lucius. The only way to give him a superhuman ability, in my opinion. It's possible. Which Marvel character had a bad movie in Daredevil 2003 or Elektra? Personally, I think Elektra had a better movie. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever actually seen the Elektra movie. I've seen the Daredevil movie. I had the soundtrack even. But I do not remember the Elektra movie that well. I remember her in Daredevil, but I don't remember her movie all that well. So honestly, I don't think I can speak to Elektra. What FF game am I excited for, if any? Remake 2 or 16? I am way more excited for Remake 2 than I am for 16. I'm looking forward to 16. I think 16 looks really good and really interesting, but I have an extreme bias towards FF7. I've got so much of their shit back here. And I loved the first half of Remake, and I'm really excited to see where this goes because spoilers for the game. If you don't want to hear anything, it's just mute for 10 seconds. Go. So Remake is not a remake. It is a sequel to all the games that came before. So like, I need to know what is happening because it's going to affect everything else that we've watched before and our way of perceiving it. So I need Remake and I need answers. Did I expect the Chucky series to be this good before, or were we like, it's going to be okay? I thought it'd be kooky or funny or just like more Chucky fun, but it's actually pretty good. And it's still got all the Chucky fun that I kind of would have expected from it. It's been a fun ride, and I haven't really expected the writing to be half as good as it was. Like the main character, how I'm invested with that, how it's actually tying in all the previous lore. I like it a lot. Again, Brad Charisma. Somebody draw that. I need to know what somebody named Brad Charisma would look like. Brad Dourif's charisma as Chucky is like 95% of the character of Chucky. Like, I feel like just the air that he brings to the character and the role and just the way he brings Chucky to life, that it's just so unique that I feel so much more connected to him than I could to even Mark Hamill as Chucky in that soulless reboot. I liked the reboot, but it did not feel like Chucky. So yeah, I was surprised pleasantly by the show. I thought it might at least be campy and enjoyable in that way. But I've actually legitimately been enjoying it. Which movie do I like more, the Snyder Cut or Infinity War? See, the thing about that, the Snyder Cut is a completed film. Like, it is a Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 film. Infinity War is like a part 1 of a 2-part thing. So it's like not a 1-to-1 comparison. And honestly, I like the Snyder Cut more than I like Infinity War. But I also like Endgame more than I like Infinity War. And I know most people like Infinity War more than they like Endgame. I think in Endgame, I just like all the fucking fan service moments. I think that's most of it. Because it's just like, yeah! 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 The entire time in that movie for the most part. I just think from beginning to end, like it's a nice, long, structured film, beginning to end. I like it. I don't know. I just like it more. Again, you guys should know me by now. I like DC way more than I like Marvel. The universes. So I was really happy when I felt like something was done right for once. Because if we're talking movies, Marvel's been the leader no matter how you look at it for the past decade. And I love Marvel, man. I do. I love these movies. They've really opened me up to the Marvel universe more than anything before. Before I was only an X-Men and Spider-Man fan before the MCU. I always thought Captain America and Iron Man were insufferable characters. I never really latched onto Hulk. I thought Thor was just a laughable character. And then the MCU made me give a shit about everybody that wasn't Spider-Man or the X-Men. So I like the MCU a lot, but like I have to lean on that Justice League when I can. Now, if you ask me about the Justice League, there's not that movie's just garbage. Garbage. After seeing the Snyder Cut. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like a Snyder cultist or anything like that, because I like maybe half his movies, maybe most of the time, if we're talking about his whole filmography. So don't confuse me. Even though I'm wearing a Snyder Cut Darkseid shirt. Like, just imagine a Superman movie with Dune or Godzilla versus King Kong special effects. Like, Man of Steel was okay, but Legendary was just matured in special effects production since Man of Steel came out. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But then again, I feel like if you go that scale, you lose a lot of the humanity that is in there, because that's what I noticed about Dune and Godzilla. The humanity aspect was a little bit lacking in those, and I think it's very necessary for a Man of Steel. Even Man of Steel had that problem. It took scope and scale and symbolism over actually showing the humanity. There was a lot of symbolism, imagery, and implied humanity without there actually being humanity behind the characters. That was one of my only problems with Man of Steel, is I feel like it didn't, like, I didn't think it really sold us on Clark Kent or Lois Lane or anything like that, but it sold us the Superman of it all. And it was the best Dragon Ball Z live action movie we've ever had. So that's a couple of the reasons why I liked it. Do you think, gotta go, I'll talk to you later, probably after I've seen Eternals, because I can't deal with spoilers. Do you think Zendaya would be a good Spider-Girl? Probably. Take care, Stixie, by the way. Yeah, sure. She'd be a good Spider-Girl. Before I go, you're so close to 20k subs. I know, man, I know. Holy shit, man. So close. Did I see the leaked No Way Home behind the scenes pics that leaked an hour ago? I have not, and I don't plan on seeing them, as long as I can avoid it. Do you think Marvel fatigue has started, or is Eternals just divisive? Well, from what I've heard, some of the biggest complaints is that it doesn't follow the Marvel formula. It's not funny, overly serious, and it's taking itself serious. And some people like that they're doing something different. Some people didn't gravitate to the characters. I don't know. They're trying to do something different, and I just have to see if it works or not for me. But I felt like after Endgame, that I personally, after Endgame, felt massive Marvel fatigue. Because after Endgame, and I've said this a bunch of times, it felt like a good climax. You built up, you built up, you built up, you built up, and you released with that climactic ending to what we've been building 10 years to. And after you bust a good one, you just gotta lay back and chill and recover. You can't just immediately be thrown into another Marvel movie, another moment. You just need a little bit of a break. You need that cigarette. You need that relaxation, the moment to recharge. And after Endgame, I felt, even for Spider-Man Far From Home, as much as I love Spider-Man, I wasn't like, damn, I need to see this, because I didn't feel like I had to anymore. I didn't feel like I was hungry to see it anymore after Endgame. And it took a while to build that back up. After you just, like, how do you build that hype up again? Surprisingly enough, given us months, now a year plus since we've got away from Endgame, I feel excited for these Marvel movies now a little bit. Like, it was a slow burn to build that back up. So I felt fatigue. It exists. I don't know how many people have come back from that fatigue. I'm sure there's a lot of people that probably was like, all right, we're done. Yeah, and like East Blue just mentioned, the formula is a little tired at the moment. They need to start shaking things up. That's why I think that the transition to the shows has been a huge part of their plan, to kind of spread out and tell long form stories about some of these characters. That is also going to pay off down the road. Right now, it's a much more difficult process, I think, to get people reinvested into the long-term plan. Because right now, I feel like your casual fans are just eyeing which ones. Because now that Endgame and Thanos and this promise of this huge climax is out of the picture, you felt like before you needed to see every movie to get the full build-up. Like, it was almost required watching to watch everything leading up to that. Right now, that's not the case. For the casual fan, I can only assume it just feels like, you see each of these projects coming out and it's just like, do I feel like checking that out? Maybe not. Because you don't know where it's going to. There's none of the puzzle pieces have really been laid, except for in the shows in some small ways, and for us who keep on top of everything. So I don't know, man. It's this big complicated web, I think. Long-winded answer. I think it's a mix of both, Ragu. Few horror movies have turned into series now. Which horror movie you want to see turn into a series? Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Jeepers Creepers, or Leatherface? Friday the 13th might be able to work as a series. Nightmare, I don't think so. Halloween, I don't think so. Jeepers Creepers, maybe. Leatherface, I also don't see that being series worthy. I think you could make a Friday the 13th series. It would just have to be, it couldn't be like a 20 episode season or anything. Like, it would need to be like 8 episodes or 10 episodes, but I think you could do a Friday series. People coming to the camp, getting settled in, weird stuff happening around the camp, people start missing throughout the camp, Jason slowly works in on them. You can spread that story out a little bit easier than I think if you did like a Nightmare or something like that. Can you do a good Chucky impression? Hell no, I will not even try. What's up, Larson? Super late. Hey, better late than never, man. Happy Halloween, Donick. True, that's why I want the next Superman reboot movie to be directed by Alfonso Cuarón, like Gravity plus Harry Potter. Great Superman movie. Alfonso Cuarón, he's a great director, especially with his one-shots. He's really well known for those one-shots. What's up, Canary Katie? How have you been? It's been a while. Finally made it to one of these. How do you feel about Bishop being back on Legends? I was really surprised. I like Bishop in a weird way. Like, his swagger and charisma. He's a very interesting villain. I have no idea what implications this is going to have on the show, though, because it is another one of these things that is going to interrupt their continuity, interrupt the timeline. They have broken the timeline even worse than they even know now. And it's one of those things that's definitely going to challenge the show's ability to keep continuity in check. But I don't know. I'm down for more I was going to say more Vision. I'm down for more Bishop, to be honest. And it's a different Bishop. Why do I keep wanting to say Vision? It's a very different Bishop this time around. So let's see if they change him up a little bit, or if he just kind of plays into the same shtick he did before. I don't know. I'm open to it, but I was definitely taken aback to see him brought back around into it. But I hope you're doing well, Katie. I feel like the Eternals is part of a bigger project that most of us can't see yet. No, I agree. I think that's going to be the case with everything. And that's the case with the movies before, when we didn't know what they were building up to. We hardcores, us diehards who watch these things, all know it's going to build to something eventually. It's just unlike what we knew was coming at the end of the first team up in the Avengers. We don't know what's around the corner just yet. I think once we know what the bigger picture is, or at least have a more structured idea about it, we might have a better idea. And after Endgame and after WandaVision and after this promise, the multiverse, I think expectations are all over the place. And if it's not tied into that big bombastic multiverse thing, I'm sure there's a lot of people that just don't care, like about Shang-Chi or like Black Widow or Eternals, because it's not, everybody's like, no, give me Spider-Man, give me Multiverse of Madness and stuff like that, because that's where they think that the big heavy stuff's going to be coming from, because of the big implications on the MCU from the multiverse. I don't know. It's a little scattered at the moment. It's not as focused as it used to be, but we'll just have to wait and see what they do. I've got plenty of faith in Kevin Feige, so we'll see how things play out. Friday the 13th was already a series. It was an anthology series based around the horror stories that happened on Friday the 13th. Yeah, but I mean like an episodic thing, not an anthology series. I would not make an anthology series about any of these, because then you might as well just be making individual movies. Have I watched AHS 84? I have, and it was awful. It's interesting that horror TV series seem more viable nowadays. Am I excited to see Ghostbusters 3? I am. I'm looking forward to it. I wouldn't say I'm excited for it, but I'm looking forward to it. It's loosely tied to the Friday the 13th movies by having characters from the movies show up in pre-encounters with Jason. I think Marvel, Disney Plus rumors don't help either. Every day I hear about a potential new show. It makes me tired thinking about them. Oh yeah, the rumor mill is way more vocal than it's ever been, especially because of the lead into Endgame. A lot of people made their channels solely around the build up to Endgame. I think Cosmic Wonder was one of the biggest ones, like, to make a lot of growth, making a bunch of content about what could or could be happening, theorizing what's going to happen in Infinity War and Endgame. And it's only gotten worse. Because now it doesn't matter what you throw out there, because now anything can be accessible with the merger with Fox and the implications of them diving into the multiverse and stuff like that. Now, like, you could throw out anything into the ether, and because of what we know about what's going on, it could happen, but we have no idea if it's going to, and then that's going to steer people's expectations in completely different directions. So yeah, we definitely are hearing new things every day about every one of these Marvel projects, and there's so many Marvel projects, and we know pretty much most of them already. Not everything about them, but we know what they all are. It's just like, you can't stop hearing it, and it's like, yeah, it does get tiring to be bombarded with all this information, or exhausting trying to avoid it, for that matter. Speaking of horror movie TV series, what did you think of Scream that aired for 3 seasons? I never actually watched it, because I thought the idea of a Scream TV series just was a betrayal of the concept of Scream, so I just never actually watched it. I'll love to see Easter eggs and cameos from other Batman villains in the Batman. I'm sure we'll get some other teases or something in there. Maybe not like straightforward ones, but I think we could see some cool stuff like that. Are you planning on streaming Disney Plus Day? It's going to be the exact same day as Disney Investors Day. Should be getting more Marvel series release dates, trailers for shows and movies, as well as stuff, new trailers. I don't know if I'm going to live stream it, but I'm definitely going to be watching it. What do you think of Kristen Stewart as a female Joker? Yeah, hell yeah. I'd be down for that. I think she's a highly underrated actress, so I think she could do a really good job with it. I actually really want to see that Spencer movie about her playing Princess Diana, so which I think also comes out next week. So just have to see if I can make it to that or not. I have a Halloween party to go to. See you next week on Saturday. Take care, Donick. Have fun and happy Halloween. Ah, my throat. It's a little raw. Let's see. Speaking of, what's everybody's favorite favorite horror movie? For me, I think I've still got to settle on the classics. Classics. Like, I don't know. I still have a major bias for Halloween, like the original Halloween. Actually, the original continuity of Halloween too, as well. Do you think they should make a Hit Monkey live action movie? I don't know about that. I mean, they could try it. But I don't know how that would work. I mean, I know how it would work. I don't know how it would look or how it would land. The show looks ridiculous from what I saw from the trailer. I don't know anything about this character. Never heard of them before, but it looked zany as hell. Definitely don't plan on watching it, but it definitely looked like funny. Found Lori and Fam really annoying in Halloween Kills. Sydney Prescott would never. Yeah, Sydney Prescott is my favorite last girl. My favorite final girl. And that's the one thing that I'm really nervous about with this new Scream is that we've made it so long without Gail, Dewey, and Sydney dying. And I really will not be able to handle it if one of them doesn't make it out of this movie. But yeah, Lori, definitely annoying in the movie. Her daughter, definitely annoying. Karen, who I thought was annoying in the previous one, was one of the only people in the whole movie that had a brain on their head. At all. One thing I didn't even realize as I was watching it is that in the background, until I saw it again or saw other people talking about it, is like these people, that whole segment where they're chasing that other escapee from the asylum, and they're like, "It's Michael, get him!" There is literally a newscast on showing Michael's face on TV throughout the whole movie. Michael's face is all over the background on the TVs, talking about his escape on the TV. And these people, for as obsessed they are about an event that happened 40 years ago, which would have had the dude's face on TV ever since he got captured, they should know what the fuck he looks like. The movie made no goddamn sense. I did not like this new movie. People remember the movie The Gate? Sounds familiar, but I don't remember it. That's where the kid with the eyeball in his hand freaked me out. I don't remember that. I was planning on a horror movie marathon since I was a kid. I never watched hardly any. Now that I'm older, I know all the horror movie tropes, so it's just going to be funny seeing people make the wrong mistakes. I don't know. I like watching horror movies. Even I watched a lot of horror movies when I was a kid, though. Lot. Let's see. Where are we at? You know, I haven't looked at the times for Antler yet. So we got a 7. Okay. I can make that work. All right. So, guys, I am going to wrap up a little bit early. So, still got a bunch of stuff I need to do today. That sounds like Halloween was trying for some social commentary and not doing it well. Oh, you have no idea. There's a lot of social commentary in it, and none of it made any sense or was organic at all. Would I watch a live-action Minecraft movie? That would be horrific. Would they still be squares? Or would it just be real people wandering around in the wild, like, mining stuff? I don't even know. I can't even, like, begin to, like, conceptualize in my head a Minecraft movie, a live-action Minecraft movie. Am I going to a Halloween party? Nope. Nah, I'm going to the movies. See Antlers. And then I got some errands to run before then, so I just got some stuff to do. Got a couple other watch-alongs to record for the Patreon before the weekend's over, so just trying to get it all done. I might stream something tomorrow. I don't know yet. So, for Halloween itself. So, keep an eye out. So, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys either tomorrow or next Saturday. Take care, everybody.